with the pledge. Everybody please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry, I have that. Okay, first item on the agenda is minutes from the previous meeting.
Let me get this thing. July 8th, 6 o'clock.
Good.
Joy.
Okay, did you go over the minutes from the
Yeah.
last meeting? And
Yeah,
do you have
I
any
think-
changes or
No, they look
updates or
good.
anything?
Mm-mm.
I'm good with them.
I'm good. I'll move to accept as written.
Second. All in favor? Okay, minutes accepted as they are. Lori is not here, and she's usually first because ladies go first. She did send me a report, and it's very brief. Total swimmers from May 25th through June 30th are 5,432. Wow, weather
That's
helps.
awesome. Yeah.
And the total income was 23,543. She has no problems to report at the pool. And just as aside from this, I happened to stop by there one day, 2 weeks ago, and her pool guy that did the filters and was gonna do the chemicals and all that was there. We had a long chat about what we need to do and start thinking about the 10-year plan, so.
Okay.
What were the dates on that? 5/25, 6, what?
6:30.
6:30. 6:30, I'm sorry.
Wow. That's a lot.
You good? Okay, Lenny's on vacation. I have nothing to report from Lenny. The park is pretty well cleaned up. They still got some issues out there. The fences haven't been repaired yet. They're still trying to get some weed whacking done. They were working on that this morning. But we're pretty well back to normal. Pretty well back to normal.
Have we heard about insurance on the
We're getting a
shed?
We're getting a official confirmation of how much
Okay.
or if. As of yesterday, there was no official what was gonna happen. And that would
Okay.
include the cleanup of the trees and the replacement of, if we decide to do it, the building.
Okay.
And I think that's all I have. And by the way, Lenny is operating with only 3 employees. Did you guys know that?
Mhm. I thought that was always the case.
No, he's supposed to have 4.
Oh, he's supposed to have 4? Oh.
Yeah. He only has 3, and that's why they're apparently having a lot of trouble keeping up.
So does he have anything, we have it in the budget for him to have 4, correct?
Yes.
So does he have anything, we probably don't know since
He's
he's
on
not here, to
vacation.
have anything on the agenda to
Right.
do interviews?
Right.
Or hiring?
So we'll just, I'll ask him when he gets back. He'll be
Okay.
back. I'll probably see him tomorrow night at the meeting.
Okay,
I'll ask him if he's got anything in the works.
okay.
Okay? All right. Lyle, you might be it tonight.
All right.
Highlight of the evening.
The highlight of the evening. Okay, well, I'll try to do an impressive job then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The parking lot's been pretty full.
Pretty good, yeah. Heat is a lot better than rain. Much, much better. Still behind on the income level, but like I say, heat is better than rain, definitely so. The last several weeks were very good. Not showing here, but the 4th of July weekend, 4th of July being on Thursday, is very good for us, a lot better than when 4th of July is on a Saturday or something. You get the benefit of the Thursday, the Friday, and then the weekend as well. So that was very positive. A lot of events still upcoming in the next month. I just listed the ones between today and the next park board meeting. As far as our scorecards go, for those of you who may not have known, over the years, Smith, Sawyer Smith, and Shepherd's have jointly sponsored the scorecards, which basically means Hardesty prints our scorecards. They send the bill to Smith, Sawyer Smith, and Shepherd's. Both of them agreed to do that again. We made a few tweaks on the card, changing the order of the handicap bowls, and I think Smith, Sawyer Smith changed the logo. And so that's being done locally here again, and provided cards for the course. As far as the golf course goes, the overall condition is very good, although we haven't had a lot of time to clean up the edges, the things off the beaten path that we like to straighten up, just with the storm damage and other things we've had going on. But we have had a lot of compliments on the greens, which is in large part due to trying to verticut and roll them. So we've been verticutting about every other week. It's hard to do once it gets really hot. And then,
Would you care to explain verticutting?
yeah, like normally, the reel mower goes around this way, clips off the top of the grass, but when you verticut, there's actually blades that are positioned this way that go down and slice any grass that's laying sideways.
So this is
So-
a additional thing on the mower that,
Yeah, the heads, we actually have a very old mower that we just use for verticutting. So we've had it for a long time and it gets used, like I say, once every couple weeks in the summer. So we just leave the verticutting reels on that mower. And so any grass that's not standing up, that's laying sideways, and you're mowing at 5/32 of an inch, so it's really, really short grass anyway. But if it lays over sideways, it doesn't get cut, and then over time you get a lot of almost like thatch kind of stuff like that on the greens. And then we have a roller, which we purchased several years ago, that just smooths them out. It's just steel drums that you ride on sideways and it rolls back and forth across the green. So what really helps with that is you can roll instead of mowing. So not that you would roll every day, but every time you cut the plant, like if the grass is growing, you cut the top off, it opens that plant up to disease and things like that. So if you can reduce the amount of time that you do that, which is every day in the summer, and you can throw in a rolling here and there, it just helps the plant have a little extra time to recover and makes it a little less susceptible to, well, we do a lot of proactive spraying for fungus, algae, things on the greens that can harm the plant. And so that helps us to try to keep those things under wraps. So far this year, we've been in good shape, which usually when it gets wet, you have a lot of trouble keeping those things from happening. So it would be nice to roll a little more, but because we only have one roller, we have to get out early and stay ahead of everybody versus sending a guy to each 9 to roll. And so on certain days, like if we have a spraying or we have a tournament or we have an event, we have to get out ahead of everybody. We don't have the luxury of doing the rolling. We have to go ahead and use the 2 mowers and mow. But it's been a really positive thing. We've got a lot of good compliments on the greens.
and you think the rain has helped or hurt us?
The rain, I think early in the year it probably helped us in some of the areas where our fairways were bad. I think there's been some fill in there. On the greens, it hasn't seemed to have hurt us, where I think, if it gets hot and wet, you have a problem. We had a little spell there where we were hot and wet, and then just hot right after that. And I noticed in our fairways, some of the poana, which is a specific type of grass, it struggles in the heat. It's not as deeply rooted, and so I could see some of those areas just turning brown again. And it's not for a lack of anything other than just you got a lot of heat and that grass doesn't tolerate it well. Duke Energy did have some issues with the power lines that run between 12 and 13. We had that storm. They had several outages, and they tracked it down to an area between those holes where there are a number of trees along the power lines, and they have, I think it's a 45 feet, what do you call that?
Right away?
Right away, leeway.
They
yeah,
cut
right away.
across the course? I wouldn't know where they cut across the course.
Yeah, it goes from, 12 and 13 are over near the maintenance area, closer to 4th Street, but there's actually a gas pipeline that goes through there too, so it goes in behind Lau, kind of angles back that way into the woods. And they're fairly open there, but there were some areas where there's some trees in the way and touching the lines and leaning towards the lines and things like that. So they came out and did some work. They didn't cut down nearly as many trees or limbs as they said they were going to, some of which I just like to get down anyway. And so I called back and they said they actually weren't done yet. They just ran out of time with the 4th of July weekend coming up, and they pulled out all their trucks and left. So I'm gonna meet with a fellow Wednesday morning, and I think they're gonna be back Thursday or Friday to cut down some more stuff. I think at last meeting, we had talked about any possible trees in the creek. There was not anything that would stop the flow, but we did have several areas where there's some debris in the creek, and so we're gonna try to find some time to strap onto it and see if we can get it out with our stuff, which is not very big, and if we can't, then I'll call Lenny. But like I say, it's not an issue right now, but probably if it goes on for a while, it might get to be stacked up a little more. And then we do have a large pile of wood from the storm damage. I talked with Mason the other day, and he had mentioned that we had the burn permit about through the end of July or close to it. And we thought it might be beneficial to burn all the stuff we've got, but the problem being we don't have a way to truck it or the labor to truck it over there to burn it. So I didn't know if that was something we want to try to look more into, and who, like if Lenny's guys are short on guys, he's not gonna have the labor either, but he would have the trucks. If it's worth trying to load it, haul it over there and burn it versus leave it at the golf course, where it's really not in the way, but at some point in the future, we'll probably have to have it ground up.
So we could really leave it this year and get it next year, or? is that what
We
you're
could,
saying?
we just wouldn't be able to burn it later.
Right,
If we leave it,
right.
I think last year, we hadn't ground wood in a couple of years, but I think Jackson's came out and did it at the end of last year. It cost us about $8,000 to have all that wood ground up and hauled away.
Okay.
But it also caused you issues having that because groundhogs and rodents were living
Yeah.
in it. and
Oh,
tearing
yeah,
up your
yeah, we
greens.
have stuff live, which, I mean, that's not too big a problem for us back there, but,
Yeah, but I know 13 Green was having a lot of issues last year. It
um,
was getting torn up a lot. I brought you traps.
yeah, I was trying to think what that was. It wasn't groundhogs or anything digging in there, but it
Yes.
was something that peeled up the surface there. I can't remember if we caught it. I think we did catch something. I don't remember what it was. If they took it out of the country and dropped it off, or how they did that, but I do remember that. So yeah, that could be related
I'm not
to
sure
that.
what it was, but-
Yeah.
All right, so
I would-
you're gonna touch base with Lenny when he gets
Yeah,
back and see if he
Yeah.
can do it?
I'll touch base with him.
Okay.
Mayor Denton usually has a meeting on Wednesday morning, and I think I missed the last one, so I'm gonna.
Well, Lenny
make it
was on
Wednesday.
vacation this weekend.
Yeah, so I'll get with Mayor Denton on Wednesday and talk about it. And then lastly, Bill Morris did take the 2 trunks of the large trees on 9. So our guys pretty much cut everything off of it. He took the trunks. We do have one more on hole 12 if he's willing to take it, so I'll try to
So,
connect
Is he
there.
only looking for oak? Is that was his, any large trunks? Do you know?
Probably take multiple.
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind it is on 12. I don't know if you know, Mason, you remember that big one on the left by the cart path, but I'm not sure.
Who's our contact with Bill?
I went through Lenny last time and
Okay,
talked to
Lenny
him,
will be
so.
back tomorrow, so, okay.
So I'll touch base again Wednesday with Mayor Denton,
Okay.
and I think we'll figure that out. But other than that, everything's in good shape, and ready for another good month.
Okay, I have a simple question.
Okay.
I noticed a pretty good sized pile of dirt out there that I can see off of 14.
A Highway 4, right in
Yeah.
front of the golf shop? Yeah.
What's, not in front of the golf shop, out on the course.
Yeah, out on the course, but as you drive past
Yeah,
the
I
shop.
can see it from the road.
Yeah, that, there's sand up on the hill there.
I saw that.
The dirt, we had put in 2 mounds previously that we
Mhm.
thought were gonna help catch some tee shots there.
Okay.
It really didn't have the effect we wanted. So we're taking those mounds that we had put in, and we're gonna use that dirt to expand some blue teeing areas, which is where we get a lot of play. And the blue teeing areas are fairly small, so when the mower gets on it, if they try to turn on it, it eventually rips up the ground. So we're gonna use that to build the expansion of the tee.
Okay.
And then the sand, we're gonna put in some sandy area in there to try to catch the tee shots that way, versus the mounds, which really didn't have the effect I wanted.
Okay, all right. And Driving range is looking pretty good.
It is. I'm very pleasantly surprised that the grass that got on there in the spring has survived. And so I think at this point, we've made it past the hard part, and we'll try to make it a little better each year. I think it'll get a little better, but the mounds look nice in terms of where they're at and give you something to aim at. And I think if we can continue to work on that grass, fertilize it a little bit, make it a little better, and work on the color of it, and things like that, it'll show up as better target areas in
It
the
looks a
future.
lot nicer than it did before.
Yeah, it does, definitely does.
And now I have one more question, because I've been asked this question 4 times this month.
This is a short month.
The rental ball, the rental ball dispenser.
Yeah,
People are not happy that they have to drive clear up to the clubhouse and get the balls and then go out and use
yeah.
the driving
We
range.
use the dispenser, it still works. And we
Oh, it
could
does
use
work now?
Oh, it
I thought
works. No, we just stopped using it for multiple reasons, but one of which, when you dump the balls in at night, they're wet, and so the balls go through kind of a funnel and then dispense at the bottom. Well, they'll jam.
Okay,
So you give somebody a range token, you send them over there to use it, and then they have to come back because there's no balls in the
All right.
machine. So there might be balls in the machine, it's just jammed. Then you've got one guy in the golf shop usually who has to lock the building, drive over to the range, try to open up the ball
Okay.
dispenser and make sure
All
there's
right.
balls. The second part of that is if we did run out of balls, we don't know it. So we're still selling tokens, and then guys go over there and the dispenser's empty. So it's just easier to have the kids, when they wash them at night, bring them back to the golf shop. We know how many we've got, we know when we're gonna run out. When we send them over there with a bucket of balls, they've got balls. And then they can leave the basket over there, they don't have to bring it back.
oh, they just leave the basket
They just
sitting
leave the
over there?
basket, yeah, just leave it sitting.
In that building?
No, just on the range tee.
Right on
we
the
pick
range?
'em up.
So you go by and,
In the evening, we pick them up.
oh, okay. So
So-
they're just always available to anybody that wants to go and use the range? Is that what you're telling me?
Empty basket.
Oh, no, in the empty baskets.
Oh,
Yeah.
empty
They buy
baskets.
the baskets at the golf shop, and they
Right,
take the
and that's
balls
the
over
complaint
there.
I'm getting. I have to drive
Right.
clear to the shop to drive over there.
Which, I understand that, at the same time, that was a downside when we moved to the barn. You know, we knew the range was never gonna move locations, and if the ball dispenser was a flawless system, and we could, do that easily, but it jams frequently,
Is
once a
there-
day at least,
Is there an opportunity for us to come up with a inexpensive ball dispenser somewhere that we might be able to put in its place?
No. I mean, the one I have is quite old, but it's several $1,000s
Okay.
for a dispenser, and
All right,
there are just flaws in them inherently.
so my answer is going to be, sorry, you gotta.
I would say, yeah, it's the
Okay,
downside of
that's
being at
okay.
the barn, but I think it's a lot better than having a token going over there,
And
than
not
having to
working.
come back, than
Okay.
that whole process. At least you know you got them when you
Well,
go,
at least this way they'll know how to plan their trip, drive by the barn
come by the
first.
golf shop,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Anybody else got any more questions? No.
All right,
Thanks, Laf.
thank you.
Okay, I don't see any more strangers here that I recognize, so I'm assuming that the Reverend Baldwin and that Deborah Stiles are not here. So, ladies, Jenny Steininger,
Yeah.
and I forgot, are you gonna do the talking?
Not really.
You got it.
I'm sitting behind.
What's your name one more time?
Jenny Steininger. Oh, me? Amy Freeman.
Amy, okay. Okay,
So I'm here on behalf of the new 8th grade kids that will be going to Washington DC. There is about roughly 40 of them, and they're doing fundraising. And they met earlier in the summer and came up with the idea to do a pool party fundraiser. The only location to do that really is outside the city pool. So that's where Lori sent us here, because she said they do pool parties, but generally it's not a fundraiser, and we would have to get it approved. So their thought process was we would charge about $5 per child, and sell the tickets at school for the first 2 weeks of school. And then what they earn from that will pay the fee that the pool charges to host it, and then they can put the rest back to paying for their trip to go to DC.
Okay.
And then she also told us the concession stands would be closed, but we could host our own concession stand.
We will not let you charge money for anything that's done in any of the park facilities.
Okay,
That's kind of the situation, the way it's always been. We won't let you sell food there, we won't let you charge admission there, because it's the park facilities.
Okay.
We'd be happy to lease you the pool, rent you the pool for the night or the evening or whatever it is when we're not open. But we have never, and I'll listen to these two guys too, we have never allowed anybody to fundraise off of our park facilities or to sell food off our park facilities.
okay,
We've had 3 or 4 of those types of requests in the last year that I'm aware of.
okay,
So our position is, you can rent it, you can have your party, but you can't charge admission,
okay.
and
Well,
you can't
That
sell
answers
food.
that.
And
That's what our answer we were
Shelley?
looking for.
I mean, I don't know what the rules are. I mean, so, but, I mean, I'll go off of Steve in regards to the summer park program. It's for the kids, once in a lifetime experience. I would say do it, but that's just me.
There's certain legalities to it.
Is there?
that-
Okay.
That we can and can't do. Let's talk to Shada and Carolyn about it, and just to double check that they couldn't take donations.
Oh, that could be a good idea.
Donations if it
If it
Yeah.
was donations, they might get away with it, but
And
they
so-
can't sell food, I know that. We've been strictly against that.
Well, if they did food
They can take
donations
donations, yeah.
for food.
So let's talk and double
See if we
check.
can reword it somehow to make it fit the,
The kids are just trying to think of other ideas that
Mhm.
other classes have done. It's about
Right.
$1,000 per child to go, so they're just trying to raise the funds on their own, so.
and it's a neat trip.
Yeah.
I
It's a
lived
very-
there for 2
my-
years.
Yeah, I'm
She's
looking
had
forward
one
to it.
go, and
I'm
I've had
crossing
one
my
go.
fingers.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Um,
sent one last year, and
yeah.
it's a once in a
Yeah,
lifetime.
I have one going into 6th grade this fall, and like, you
Okay.
have to do
Yeah,
this,
she is.
like,
Yeah.
we're going.
All right, before you leave, I need to get one of your phone numbers.
Okay,
And then we'll get in touch with you and let you know what we decide.
Okay.
We'll talk to Shada, and you think Ted? Mason?
Probably. Yeah, we just need to make sure the legality on it. You know,
Okay.
If we can do it, I'm sure it won't be an issue,
okay.
but it's just whether our hands are tied on it
Right,
at state
no, I
level
understand.
or not.
Yeah,
Nobody here has an issue with you guys trying to figure out how to send the kids out there, no doubt about
Right,
that.
yeah.
And renting the pool, but we have to keep it within the confines, the guidelines that we have. And the guidelines are, you can't charge admission, and you can't sell anything out there,
okay.
okay?
So would it be the same thing as if they sold the tickets outside of the pool area?
As long as you call it a donation, or, I don't know, we'll have to figure out how
Okay.
we can word that. I'll let
Okay.
you know for sure,
Okay.
okay?
Okay,
I will definitely call you.
okay.
Please give me a number that's easy to reach.
Don't give him email.
Do you have any more questions? Did Lori quote you a price to rent the pool?
She did, yeah.
Okay, and I'm sure, I don't think we have to approve that. We generally just go by
Yeah,
whatever her
whatever
standard
her
is.
stuff is, yeah.
It's already said.
Okay.
When were you anticipating doing this?
We were hoping for the middle of August,
Oh,
Okay.
so we got plenty of time to get this resolved.
but we were hoping that we could start advertising it when school started, so they have a couple weeks to hype it up at school.
Okay, are you looking like the week of the 19th?
The 16th, I think, was
16th,
a
that
Friday night, that there's
okay.
no football game, that they
Okay.
could have more kids show up.
And it would be after the pool closed for the day?
Yeah.
Okay. Shelley, you got any more questions?
No, I think that would be it, and yeah, talk to Shada, see what we can do.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, anybody have any questions?
Okay.
Mitch?
Nope,
Nope.
No,
unless you want that about the skate park or license.
Do you wanna, yeah,
Okay, so.
Mitch went over and talked to the people in Winnemac about the skate park, so let's get that on record too.
okay,
It's not cheap.
didn't
Like
anticipate that.
They got a lot of donations, a lot of contractors and everything else donated time and product to get it done. They went to everybody they could to get donations from, the pros, skaters and that stuff, I don't know who they are. And it's not a one-year deal, it took them, I don't know, almost 2 years to get it put together. There is, from talking to her, there is some place that she did not know, I haven't been able to find it, but they have additional ramps, separate, that, you know, you can attach to whatever you have down. So, it's supposed to be a skate park, but, you know, the bicycles get on it, they don't say nothing about it.
So they don't officially allow BMX bikes on it, but they don't say anything about it?
Right.
Okay, all right.
So,
Kind of like here.
yeah, so, he did it as a scout, Eagle Scout, I guess it is.
That's a project.
Project, him and his mother, so, and you're talking probably 100,000 plus for what they want,
Okay,
okay?
all right. So we've got a rough idea what it would cost. If we get somebody that comes in here, or a group that comes in here and wants to approach that, then at least we have some idea where we're at. But we're not gonna go out and actively do this unless we get some interest in it. Jordan, did you ever get a hold of anybody that's going to talk to them?
No, because it's the end of the year, and so school ended like a week after
Okay,
we
all
talked.
right. Okay.
But I can try to talk to the people that I know are like friends with some of the people that ride bikes and skate, and I can see if any of them know anything about it, or if they're interested.
Yeah, if they're interested and they come in here as an organization or a group or whatever, and they do a presentation to us, we could get involved if the money can be found, okay? And that might take a lot of money from their side.
And the property, I don't know where you put it at.
I bet you we can find a place for it.
You know, we got everything out at the city park, I don't know if they wanted to work at like Fansworth or someplace like that.
We could work that out.
It's a whole lot better than them out there at the old race, jumping through it.
Yeah, and that's how this was all brought up for you guys that don't remember. Mitch had the opportunity to talk to some young gentlemen who were jumping across the road out by the race and almost got clobbered by a car, so. They said we need, but they haven't come in here and talked to us either, so.
And they may not know.
They may not.
Well, they're probably afraid to come to it.
Yeah.
They'll know now, we're on TV.
Okay.
All right, anything else?
I have no.
Mm-mm. Nope. Good. I got a heifer to go feed.
You can't do that until you make a motion.
Oh, I motion to adjourn.
I second the motion. All in favor?
Whoopie-doo.
Okay. Thanks for coming, guys.